Officer Shane Bartek, Cleveland Division of Police, Ohio. Officer Christopher Gibson, Dallas Police Department, Texas. Trooper John Sumter Horton, North Carolina Highway Patrol, North Carolina. Deputy Sheriff Bryan Vannatta, Curie County Sheriff's Office, New Mexico. Officer Bart Lane Arnold, Enid Police Department, Oklahoma. Officer Richard Lynn Tostenson, Newnan Police Department, Georgia. Captain Reginald Kamal Smith, Wilson Police Department, North Carolina. Deputy Sheriff Michael Queeney, Will County Sheriff's Office, Illinois. Detention Sergeant Janell L. Visser, Miller County Sheriff's Office, Missouri. Police Officer 2nd Fernando Arroyos, Los Angeles Police Department, California. Police Officer Diane Gonzalez, New Haven Police Department, Connecticut. Chief of Police Michael E. German, Prairie City Police Department, Iowa. Canine Benny, Heflin Police Department, Alabama. Canine Jetty, Seattle Police Department, Washington. Paramedic Sarah Cadurley, Houston, Texas. Firefighter John Blagler, Los Angeles, California. Fire investigator and bomb technician Donald Gross, Lincoln, Nebraska. Firefighter David Spink, Barstow, California. Firefighter Brian Bush, Mineral Point, Wisconsin. Firefighter James Ludlam, Mineral Point, Wisconsin. Welcome back to American Songs Podcast. My name is Christian.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe.
So we got special guest Joe back with us, my cousin. Brought him back. One, we needed a guest, and he wanted to come back really badly. And we had a great episode last time. So we're just going to get started. Not much on the COVID stuff today, just because I think everyone's done hearing about it. I know I am. And so last time we talked about a book. What was that book?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
All right. So before he left, I gave him the book and basically gave him a sign to read it. How many months has it been?
I went to Dallas in November.
You took it on the plane, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's what I remember you saying.
Yeah. And I'm going on leave for Miami Wednesday. I'm going to be reading on the plane
again.
Okay.
All right. Traveling, man.
Yeah,
so it's been a few months.
I'm going to see Grant Cardone.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I'm kind of stoked.
That's going to stay on the ground. Can you still hear?
Yeah.
Okay. It just fell off. We're going to leave that on the ground. That is awesome. So you've read 10X?
I haven't read it.
Oh, either have I. But I have it. I got to read it.
But I'm so stoked to go, dude, because I can't wait to come back in.
Yeah, dude. Was it is it like a conference?
Yeah, it's a business boot camp.
There's going to be more than just him there.
So
guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't know. He does a lot of the real estate summits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many business conferences he does, but it's not often. Because the one in January, I think he said is the only one he's, as far as for the business boot camp.
Yeah,
is the only one for a while.
I wonder, is that because of COVID or is that everything else?
I don't know. I don't know if he does the real estate summits just more often.
See, I haven't read his book, so I don't really know what he's about. I just know he's pretty big in like the business entrepreneur world. Yeah, I guess real estate's his thing.
Yeah, it is.
Well, okay, so you're how many pages in now?
120 something.
Okay, and we're talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which is like what I think is like if you're like not entrepreneurship, but if you just want to not be poor or have like a mindset of a rich person, that sounds so cliche.
Yeah, the book doesn't have to be for just straight up entrepreneurial people. I mean, it can be for the basic person that is okay with working 9 to 5.
I think it'd be a good like book for high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
It's written in a my thing with it, he's very repetitive, which you've probably noticed by now. He says the same thing a lot, but he drives the point of what he's saying. And it's not like a real estate book. It's not even a business book.
Right.
It's just about like how to manage your money and like knowledge. So like
a common sense about the fundamentals of money and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're like halfway. So I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't,
but you kind of got the gist of what the book is about. Mm-hmm. So he has anybody listening who hasn't read it, you're about to read it. He has a rich dad. Rich dad is not educated.
in today's standards, right?
Right.
So he has like a high school diploma. I can't remember if he has a college or if he was a college dropout.
No, I don't. Did he have a high school diploma?
I don't think he did, actually.
I don't think he even had one.
So high school dropout.
Yep.
Something in today's standards, a bare minimum, basically, or not even that. And then he also has a poor dad who is highly educated. I don't remember what he's either masters or like doctorates. He has like a PhD, and he doesn't know how to manage his money and basically stays poor.
And makes a lot of money.
Right. Well, he makes a lot of money, but he stays poor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which comes down to how many assets you have versus how many liabilities you have. So the whole book is basically around this. So you can see it's kind of like a real life thing that you won't learn in school about what are assets, what are liabilities, and that's not real estate. That's your car,
Everything.
your phone, what's depreciating that after you buy it.
I never looked at everything like that, and since I've read
Yeah.
that and like really learned a lot more about like assets and liabilities, every single thing I look at before I buy it is that an asset or a liability.
Right. So like your car, just for example, is a liability because it goes down in cost over time, but also the day you drive off that lot, you're losing like $5,000 right when that tire hits that pavement. Your house is not. That can work as an asset because what is it? Every 10 years, it's 3% in the housing market. So the cost of your house goes up 3% every 10 years, I believe it was. So just an example, and that's basically what the book is about. I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to spoil it. I mean, there's not much more in that. He just goes into more detail as you go and how he kind of views stuff. I mean, we're talking about a billionaire. No matter if you agree with him or not, he's good friends with Trump on the business side of things. Has always been very close with him. And I mean, as we know, Trump is very high in the business world.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki, you will never hear his name, but he is extremely wealthy, like up there with Bezos and all of them. You just will never hear about him. Same thing with Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
He's extremely wealthy. I think something else he goes, never mind, I'm just going to stop talking because I don't want to spoil it for you. It's a great book, though. So you're 120 pages in. So what do you think so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
It pretty much, like you said before, just breaks down everything pretty much.
Yeah.
For you to understand about how to use money.
So he has a whole string of books after this you're going to have to read. One of them sitting right there underneath that folder thing. I have yet to read it yet because I've been very bad about reading. But like the way I look at stuff, like, so I've never read anything. Like in high school, I hated reading basically because we were reading Shakespeare, and I hate that.
Right.
I just can't stand it. So I never had something engaging to read. I mean, I don't know how anybody else feels, but
No, I've never. I think that maybe one or two books in my lifetime I've actually completed.
yeah,
But those books, like, I'll only read something that like intrigues me or gets my interest.
right.
Like, I think the only other book I've ever read that completed the whole book was in elementary school, and it was a Cal Ripken book.
Yeah,
He's my favorite baseball player.
Yeah.
And so that interested me.
right.
But any other book about anything else? Nah.
Yeah, that's how I. The only other series I've read was Indian in the Cupboard. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but that is a blast to the past right there for a lot of people. It was a whole series for kids, and I read all of it. But yeah, I never my sister gave me that book, and she was like, "Just read it, just give it a chance." And I read the first chapter. I'm like, "Yep, not stopping," and just kept going. And now I realize this is going to sound really corny, but books are like a cheat code, basically.
Right.
Like you have these guys who are multimillionaires. It's like if you were a soldier and you were going to war and you read a guide by Napoleon, or not Napoleon, any other big war, like anything, like any great leader. It's like diving into their head and they're basically telling you, here's how to do what I did. Here's how to do what I did. There you go. I did the hard work figuring out. Here you go.
You just have to read it.
Right. And so 10X by Grant Cardone. I haven't read it. I kind of know the gist of it. That's how he got rich. Robert Kiyosaki goes into the building blocks of what formulated him as a kid to become rich. What was ingrained to him by each dad.
Yeah.
So I kind of realize, and I've been horrible about reading now. I need to hold myself accountable.
I know,
but
me as well.
Like, you read one of these books and you realize that it's like the general populace doesn't know this. And you're like, it's kind of cool. And then you keep going. If you talk to anybody, I had a great mentor that I'm doing stuff now with, and the reason I have all these books that I have not read yet, he gave me a list of these books, and he said, here's 10 books that you need to read. These are the 10 books I read before I got started, and come talk to me when you're done.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I haven't finished them yet. I did a lot of audiobooks, but and if you're interested, I can give you the list. But it was a lot. It was The Richest Man in Babylon. That's one. It was a whole list of them, but it was just the 12 Pillars. That's another one. It's all these books about like not even business. It's just like having a good foundation for everything. But again, it's what I'm trying to say is like it's like a cheat code. Like The Richest Man in Babylon was written like it's written in like the way it reads is like Old English. Like, it is horrible. It's like Shakespearean. It's so bad. And if I would have read that, not an audiobook, because I did an audiobook. If I would not have been an audiobook, I would not have been able to make it through. It was horrible. But the story itself was a good story. Very similar to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But yeah, so it's just crazy how, like, these books aren't introduced in high school. I mean, along the same line of, like, stuff they don't teach you, but just, like, how to not be poor, how to look at stuff in a way where
the level that you can get to from just reading, and when I say level, I mean like knowledge.
Yeah.
Know a lot.
Yeah.
Just by reading. Really recently is when I started figuring that out, because I've always hated to read. But it's coming more clear and clear. You just read a little bit and you learn something.
Yeah. And yeah,
but everything everybody wants to read now is something off social media.
Right. Yeah, that's what's crazy. I mean, if it's not filled with drama and stuff, people don't want to read it. It doesn't have to it doesn't have to necessarily be about business or anything like that. It could be any book. Sub the Aura of Not Giving a Fuck was another book I read.
How was that?
It was great. It's exactly what the title. You learn not to care. It's where to basically you have this much care from here to here. I'm going to put this much of it here and this much of it there, and now I have 0 left to give over here. Basically, is the book.
I like it.
It's not raunchy, but like he is very
to the point,
creative with his words. I'll just put it that way. Great book. I can give you that one too if you want to read it. That is it's not super long, but that is easier to read than Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's just like he's talking to you, and he's hysterical. It's basically a comedian in the book. But like it doesn't like what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be anything. It could be a self-help book. That's a lot of stuff I read is like self-help, and I guess that's a good category. But
some people just need some motivational stuff in their life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Pick up a book that's motivational and get yourself going.
Yeah. I feel like everyone's so jaded now with everything going on. People don't build themselves. It's like a lot of people are in like a constant just like motion. Like I could understand now why someone might want to like start a business, but they're in this constant struggle of keeping up that they can't get out of it. Like if they stop, they're going to sink. So they have no time to do something else, like branch out and do something because they're sinking so fast. Part of that is you have people going out saying, "Oh, I make $50,000 a year. I'm going to go buy a BMW, the newest BMW that costs $50,000. Because now I got $50,000. What's up?" And they put it on a debit card. That's one of the big problems, and it's just stuff we don't learn in high school or just early education. If like your parents don't have it, nothing on them, because if they weren't taught it, then they're not going to teach it. Like if you don't save. If you don't know how to use a credit card.
I've never had, to this day, somebody teach me about money.
No.
I've always taught myself.
Yeah. But you're probably one of the few out there who actually put in the effort to go find the information, because it's there.
Oh, yeah.
That's something else reading caused me to realize, like,
anything
no one's going to hand you a spoon and with something on it and say, here's the information.
Yeah.
Like, it's out there.
Yep.
It's just the sad truth is some people are just lazy. They're okay with doing the bare minimum, which if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Some people like being employees. If that's how you want to live your life, that's how you want to live
Have
life.
at it. I can't do it.
Right. Something, and some people like being the boss. Some people like investing. Some people, strive to be wealthy. And some people just strive to be the best person they can be. And part of that is finding the info on how to do that. I don't know. I think reading, I don't do much of it now. I should, but
I wish I did more than what I do.
yeah, it's just I never realized. I wish I would have started earlier. Like I wonder how much if I had some of the info I have now. If I had that when I was like 16, how or where I would be now, as far as like business or like would I have gone to college, knowing what I know now.
Do you ever feel like that keeps you back at all, thinking about the what ifs versus the, well, this is what I know now, so this is what I'm going to do for later?
No, and I'm not going to act like I'm some crazy successful person. Like
I feel like it
I'm
happens
not
to
a
me
millionaire.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
But
my ultimate goal in life, I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I hit 30.
Mm-hmm.
Will I do that? No. Will I continue to try to do that? Yeah.
It could happen overnight.
If
you put an NFT up for sale,
dude, if I'm worth 200,000 by the time I'm 30, whatever. That's just life. I wanted to start saving in a mutual fund when I was 21. I want to do a certain amount each month. I still haven't started, and so I'm 3 years later. So I mean, sometimes just life takes you by the horn, or sometimes you have to take life by the horns and just you get a horn to the chest, and that's just how it works sometimes. And that's I think the biggest thing is I realized, like, nothing goes to plan, ever. Like, there's never a, like, this is going to be the plan and this is what I'm going to stick to. Especially long term. I think it's the biggest thing is long term plans never go the way you think they're going to go. Like, the profession I'm in now, nope. When I was 16, I said I would never do that. I don't want to do that. That's not my thing. Now I'm doing it.
And when I was 16, I was saying, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying, I'm never going to do it. And then when I'm 50 and ready to retire, I'll pick up a part-time gig.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's weird how much changes over the, like, I feel like every time, I don't think this is picking me up much. There we go. I feel like every time, like, I have a plan set, it's just like, here's a wrench.
Right.
Here's another one. And that's just life. And I guess the best people, the most successful people are the ones who can take that wrench and do something with it, build something with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example of my life, but I mean, stuff happens every day. You have your two types of people. This is going to be a self-help episode. I can already hear it. You have your two types of people that when you throw a wrench in there, they go, well, that just broke the window I was working on.
Right.
Or that just broke the pipe I was tightening. Thanks a lot. You have another person who would say, oh, now I have two. Now I can do it 2 times as fast. That was a bad example. But you get the point. You have people who will take it and run and see, like, when you fall, it's an opportunity to get back up and keep running. Or you have the other people who fall and be like, well, I'm on the ground, might as well take a nap.
Right.
Like,
I was about to say something, and I forgot how I was going to say it.
wow. Yeah, I mean, you have those two types of people, and I feel like a lot of different things play into that. Like your parents, how they raised you, like what did they do? Like I feel like if your parents own a business and you can kind of see how that's like and you know how that operates, you're probably more likely to open your own business or not, knowing that you wouldn't survive that atmosphere. And just the way they raise you, like a lot of people are raised where they get told, this is pretty crappy, but a lot of people are told, like, yeah, you can't do anything you want to do. Or, and other people say, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just hard work. American dream. Hard work, it'll pay off. And a lot of people, I feel like now a lot of people in our generation don't believe that. It is true. hard work, staying up late, reading, investing, putting your money in the right place, playing your cards right, not buying a BMW. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people make a lot of stupid decisions.
Build an empire now so
Right.
that in 40 years, well, not in 40 years, in 20 years when we're 40, all the people that are out doing what we're not doing will be
Right.
working for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't, and building an empire does not mean like, oh, we're in our 20s and we're millionaires. No,
Right,
just don't make
right.
stupid decisions.
Right.
Like, don't have a kid when you're 16. Don't have, you don't have to spend every weekend partying. You don't have to. You don't have to buy the fanciest car. Guess what? They all have 4 wheels, and they're going to get you there somehow. You don't have to
Yep.
buy a 200. I think who was it? Was it Conor McGregor? Said something. He was like, "Here's a $200 watch, and here's a $30 watch. They both tell time." And
I drive an 04 Silverado Cat Eye, and I don't have a payment on it or nothing. It has 160-some thousand miles, and all my friends are like, go buy yourself a new truck. Go get a Platinum. Go get a new truck. And I'm like, why? There's nothing wrong with mine.
Right.
Just because it don't have all the bells and whistles and you just paid $80,000 for a 2019 truck with 70,000 miles, don't come at me with your
Right.
2 mortgage payments.
yeah, seriously.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm going to eat my words a little bit here, but not really, because it wasn't my dream, but I always wanted a truck, and I was in a little Volkswagen for years.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I had a little Jetta. That thing treated me so nicely. Never had an issue with it other than when I blew 2 tires. That's a story for another day. But I guess my dream was to own another truck. Like, I wanted a truck. I wanted to do truck things. I wanted to go on the beach with it. I wanted to, go off-roading if I wanted to. I want to be
Yeah.
able to haul deer if I get a deer. I want to be able to do all that.
Yep.
I want to be able to drive in snow because my Volkswagen could not do that because it was 4 inches off the ground. And so I worked my ass off to get it. It's a 16 GMC, so it's not like I got it 2 years ago. So it's not like I went out and bought like a 2021 2021 GMC
Right.
truck and blew. God knows how much they're worth now. I don't know. I got it used, and it was just I looked for a long time, and I found the right one. But my point is, like, you put in the work, but you still don't have to go buy the flashiest thing. Like, I'll say I had enough money. I probably could have put a down payment on a new truck, but that would have been the dumbest. What was I? 22. At 22, I'm gonna own a completely new truck
Right.
and have a double mortgage payment on a
Right.
truck. No. And the problem is a lot of 22-year-olds would say, hey, I got the money. Why not? Let's do it. I'll figure out the rest later down the road. And they would just go do it. And, a lot of them, if they have a credit card, yeah, here you go. Screw it. If I put like a $50, like if we go out to eat and I put like $50 on my credit card, it gives me anxiety. I see that little pay $15 this month, and I'm like, nope, 50.
Well, I just bought a new pistol today.
Oh God, here we go. What'd you get?
A SIG P320
Okay.
Legion with a red dot sight on it.
I have a question for you after we get off the podcast about that gun.
Okay.
Have you shot it yet?
No.
Have you ever shot a SIG?
Yes.
They're comfy.
I have the SIG SAS. It's like the anti-snag. It doesn't have the sight. The sight is like in the slide. That's a SIG. That's a P365.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
A certain person I know that I won't name on here carries, I think it's a 365.
it's the most comfortable gun to carry.
What caliber is it?
9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a double stacked magazine. It's really nice for concealed carry.
Mhm.
Really nice.
Yeah.
The first pistol I got for conceal was
And that fast, we're into gun cast. Go ahead.
it was a Smith M&P Shield
Okay.
for concealed. Those are
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Now I'm a Glock guy, through and through.
Yeah.
I will never not. I just love Glocks, dude.
I actually shot my Glock 23 today.
Dude, they're just so easy. They're so easy to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, SIGs, like shooting a SIG, I will say, shooting a SIG feels better than a Glock.
Yeah.
I just like Glocks, dude. But SIGs are just
The SIG that I got today. It comes with eight 17 round mags.
good. God,
and 3 12-round mags. I'm like, I can't pass this deal up.
Jesus. They're So what caliber is it?
That's a 9 also.
A 9. Okay,
My Glock's a 40.
I used to have a 10 millimeter Glock.
Did
And
you?
I had to trade them because getting rounds to go train, it was so expensive.
Yeah, I was
Compared to
actually
mine.
in the store today, and the guy came in and was like, "Do you have any 10 millimeter rounds?" I was like, "Nope, we're all out."
Yeah, dude. Even before everything, this was years ago. Like 10 millimeter compared to 9. Like if you're going out to put like 400 or 500 rounds through your gun, the difference between 9 and 10, it's like an extra $100 right there.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And I said, if I'm gonna have a gun, I want to be proficient with it. I need to go shooting. I'm not spending this much extra money, so I got a 9 millimeter. But yeah, dude, I'll be a Glock guy, but I feel like SIGs they just feel so good.
Yeah.
Like they're like, ugh.
Oh, dude, I put my hand on this gun. It was just the most comfortable gun to hold.
Yeah. What other guns you got? Go ahead, tell the feds.
I have an AR,
Mhm.
15.
You freaking white supremacist.
I'm trying to take after Rittenhouse, man.
Oh God.
To be clear, I got my AR like 6 years ago.
Well, if someone pulls a gun and points it at your head, I'd hope you shoot him too. So,
Unfortunately.
What else you got?
Man
has an arsenal.
What else do I have?
So you got
I got a crossbow,
You got a
Ghost
crossbow?
360.
that's for the silent kills.
Yep.
So you got 2 pistols.
1, 2, 3. I have 4 pistols.
Jesus, son. Go ahead, name them off.
The Glock 23,
Uh huh.
the Shield, the P365, and the P320.
Which one do you prefer for daily activities? If you get my drift.
The P365.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have that, the AR-15, the crossbow. What else you got? I know you got a shotgun. You got a shotgun somewhere in there.
No, I don't.
What?
Not yet. Not yet.
This man grew up in Sussex County, and he don't have a shotgun. What do you go, clay shooting with an AR?
No.
Send 5.56 up there?
No, I go right down to. I got a membership at Range Time.
When we going?
Whenever you want, I can take a guest for free.
Yeah, let's go, because I actually been wanting to get a membership there, and I haven't been there yet.
Come try it out for free.
I'm shipping a gun to them.
Are you?
Like next week, yeah.
That's where I bought 3 out of my 4.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Range Time, it's Gunboro it's a Millsboro address, but it's in
Yep.
Gunboro. The guy that owns it, he actually did my conceal carry class.
Did he?
He used to be the range
Officer?
range officer for Delaware Corrections.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has a ton of experience. Really good guy. If you ever get a chance to train with him, the owner, I think either owner or part owner. I don't know the whole logistics with it. Because again, I haven't been in there yet. I just know about it.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice place.
He is on top of it. Like when I did my conceal carry with him, superb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very good.
I just took my Maryland course today.
Oh, good luck getting that.
Well, should have decent luck, I think.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
the sweatshirt you're wearing right now.
That, plus just some people,
Well, in that case, I should take it because I could probably get it.
Yeah, you probably can.
Probably. So I actually, so a lot of people who, if you aren't aware, Delaware is I guess Delaware and Maryland are both may issue states. So if you get a concealed carry, they may issue it to you, quote unquote. Delaware usually, unless you have a criminal record, which they're not going to give you one, probably if you have one, or one of your So real quick, the Delaware process, just because I've know people who have been through it, I'll just say that you have to put an ad in a populating newspaper, or a populated newspaper, meaning it goes to a certain population in the county. You have to put out you have to get 5 referrals from people you know that live in the same county, and fingerprints. It's a whole string of things. It takes almost a year.
You have to take your paperwork to the Prothonotari's office.
Right, you have to get everything signed.
And if you don't have your paperwork already printed out, they charge you 10 cents per paper.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Dude, they're savages. They do not care. And even after all that, and that itself takes months because like the newspaper it takes time for them to print it.
I think, that has to stay in for like a week or something.
Right. And so you have to time all this stuff. Like you have to get your fingerprints within 45 days of turning everything in. Yeah. So that's like a whole process you have to do. And then even after that, it does take 6 months usually for them to turn around and mail you your license to carry.
Believe it or not,
BS.
Maryland is so much easier. Everything's online.
But it's way harder
You don't have to get all the references or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go through that.
Everything's online. You just got to get a background check. You got to upload a picture of the receipt to your portal on the Maryland State Police website.
We need to talk.
Yeah, let's do it. It's a good time.
It's like Delaware. If you have a clean record and you have good referrals, like you're probably going to get it. It just takes time.
It's easier for somebody that lives in Delaware that works in Maryland to get their concealed carry than just a Maryland resident.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's weird.
That's why I'm taking the chance of hopefully getting it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, might as well try.
Yeah.
But I also read their laws state that they can restrict you on when you can and can't carry. Like, they can make it so, like, when you're carrying money, you can carry, but on other times you can't, which I think is stupid. Like, it's dumb. Like, if you're in a work vehicle, whether or not you're carrying money, there's a chance you could get robbed. If you're sitting at Walmart just eating your lunch or something.
Well, not just that.
There's a chance.
I have a lot of money in just tools and equipment.
Right.
In my truck.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. And I mean, the vehicle itself, if it gets stolen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons. I mean, some people, we can go down the rabbit hole if you want to, but I mean, some people will call you a psychopath if you carry a gun. It's just a tool.
Yep.
I'd rather have it if I needed it, because average police response, I love our police and I work with a ton of them, but they're not going to get there fast enough in any circumstance. They could be right down the road. They're not going to get that fast enough.
And it's true.
Ever. Unless they're sitting there watching you, they're not going to get there. In these concealed carry classes that you have to take.
Why do you have a fire extinguisher in your house?
In case you have a fire.
Why wouldn't you conceal carry?
I agree. And actually, it sucks because Delaware, they just tried to pass, the Republican side tried to pass a new law for constitutional carry, and it got struck down immediately, like this week. So for anybody who doesn't know, I guarantee you the people who are listening to this will know what constitutional carry is. But if you don't, constitutional carry means you have a constitutional right. Basically, they reevaluate the Constitution, I guess, quote unquote, where now they recognize it as it's saying that you don't need a license to carry. Like, anybody can carry a gun. Now, Delaware...
You don't need a license in Delaware.
You don't, to open carry.
To open carry, yes.
Yeah, so you can open carry at 18 in Delaware. Maryland, they have to issue a permit to open carry.
Yep.
Which is crazy to me.
You have to be handgun qualified. You have to have a HQL license.
Yeah. Which I think for Maryland, I'm going to be honest, I think it's just having names on a book, having a record, which is what Delaware has for concealed carry, but they don't have that for open carry. And I guarantee you, if you have someone open carrying and someone concealed carrying in a say a gas station, someone comes in there with a gun to rob it, the first person they're getting rid of is that person open carrying. So it never makes, actually in a lot of the concealed carry classes, I don't know which one you took or what they did in Maryland, but a lot of them tell you do not open carry. Like the whole point of concealed is to be concealed. People shouldn't know.
I actually took my Maryland course in Millsboro.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
Through a Delaware instructor.
Oh, I guess if they're certified. Again, we'll need to talk after this.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me, the whole open carry versus concealed carry. Concealed carry is a lot more safe if someone's going through the hassle of getting a holster, conceal carry, because when you conceal carry, you got to wear different clothes. All your clothes fit differently.
Especially summertime.
If you wear tight jeans, you ain't conceal carrying in those jeans. It sucks. And summertime, it gets even worse because you don't want to print. There's a lot that goes into it. It sounds weird, but a lot of people don't realize that. They just think you're carrying a gun. So it's not like you're just putting a gun in your waistband and going. If you're going through all of this to just carry a gun, you're probably just a law-abiding citizen who just wants to protect himself if shit hits the fan down the road. And maybe it never does. I hope it never does for you. But if it does, you have a gun.
You never know if you're that person in 7-Eleven or something.
Dude, a lot of people don't realize how much crime takes place around them.
Oh, a lot of people
all the time
don't realize how many actual shootings there are from people that conceal carry, and it's just not reported.
Oh yeah, in defense,
you just don't hear about it.
Yeah, you saying in defense?
Yeah,
it's 2 to 3 million a year. There's more cases, and that's not even if they shoot; they could just draw.
Right
now, a big thing in the concealed carry class is you don't draw unless you're ready to shoot. You don't just draw a gun to just make a show.
Yeah.
And as a threat, like there has to be some kind of, because you can get charged for it. You can get charged for all. Oh,
if you pull a gun out and you don't have like actual reasonable reason to have it out, you'll get charged.
Like you can get charged. Like if someone, say, go to a bar, and you get in a fight with somebody, and you draw, you're getting charged.
Oh yeah. Because
you're not in a life or death situation. Now, if they pull a knife on you, shoot their ass like that. That is you're not going to, I mean, and another thing that's crazy is people don't understand, you're going to get arrested too. You're getting arrested on scene because it's a homicide at that point if you kill them. Well, you mean either way. If you shoot them, you're going to get arrested. The gun's getting taken away. You're going to
jail, definitely.
You're going to jail until they can figure things out at least. And, around here, more than likely the cops, and people, the witnesses, if there's anybody there or whatever, will back you up, hopefully.
We have a pretty good community of police officers, I think.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny. I worked with
some of them.
I won't say where I worked or who the person was, but he, how do I put this without saying? He was a law enforcement officer, I'll say that much. And he had a off-duty carry weapon that he carried, but he had 2 of the same gun. Whatever he carried, he had 2 of, because he knew. He only carried 1 gun, so we had 2 of the same gun. Because if he knew if he used that gun and had to use it, they would take it, and then he would be found not guilty because he wouldn't. He's a law enforcement officer. He's not going to draw unless he has to, and shoot unless he has to. They would take that gun. They could have it for years,
right?
And as evidence, if you have a court date or something, they're going to have that gun that whole time. And even longer it could be. So he always had a second gun so that when he's out, he still has a gun to carry. It's the same gun. I always thought that was funny. But yeah, it's just crazy the state to state, especially if you live on the state line and you have one in one state and one in the other, and you're constantly going back and forth, which kind of makes sense about the whole Delaware-Maryland thing. The Delaware people getting it over the Maryland. It kind of makes sense.
Mainly for specific reasons. Like if you're going into Maryland for work and all that. But if you just live in Delaware and you don't go to Maryland for anything or work in Maryland or nothing, you're probably not getting it.
I was at a party one time and there was a Anne Arundel firefighter, I believe it was. But he was telling me he has his Maryland concealed carry. I was asking him, I'm like, dude, that's like finding a freaking needle in a haystack. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I said, how'd you get it? Well, he said when they asked him for the reason why he wanted it, he said that he worked as a firefighter EMT, and they had to transport a lot of patients that were in like police custody, and there are some points where he could fear for his life in public because they know who he is. He got it, and he's a Maryland resident, and I was like, I've never heard that reason before, but that's a good point. Like, I mean, across the bridge, Baltimore and all that, if they get in a scuffle with police, they get tased or whatever, which probably happens more often than people think because they have a lot more hardened criminals over there. The ambulance has to come and transport. So if those EMTs are on there and you have a combative patient and he doesn't like you now and you work that district all the time, then they're probably going to see you again.
Yep.
So if you're a first responder out there,
because you're more likely going to the same firehouse that you were at.
Yeah, and you're more than likely going to deal with that person again. if they're a hardened criminal, they're always
Yep.
breaking the law. So
And they may call 911 just to see if you're on the ambulance that day.
they could. There's BS calls all the time for 911, and then they get shot up.
Yep.
It happens all the time. Well, not all the time, but it happens more than people. I mean, on the police side of things, it does happen a lot. Ambushes are a real thing that people don't want to talk about. But anyway, so what else you got?
Got a couple pocket knives.
Oh, so no more guns. That's it.
Nah, that's it.
Okay.
For now.
So what do you got on the AR-15? You have any like sights or grips or anything like that?
Just a red dot sight. Yeah, that's it on it.
Okay. So why do you need that type of gun? I think that's very military styled gun. It's kind of offensive that you have that. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, to be honest, it's none of your damn business.
Oh, crazy.
Number 2, I can have what I want.
Oh, it's even crazier.
Number 3, I can have what I want.
Oh, there's a little piece of paper that the country was founded on that says that.
Number 4, I can have what I want.
Oh, okay. So what's crazy to me is that, like anybody with sense, so the AR-15 platform, the Armalite 15, because it doesn't stand for assault rifle,
Right.
platform was made for civilian use by the same company who made the military-styled rifles.
Correct.
So it's not a military rifle. People, I can't. Like when something happens and like on Facebook, people are
That's
like,
like
"You
having
have a
that's like
military
having
rifle."
having a Glock handgun and saying, "Oh, that's a police gun. Police use those."
That exactly.
That's a police gun.
Actually,
what are you doing with a police gun?
Actually, it's a lot more like a police gun if you carry it and you have like hollow point rounds,
Yeah.
which are legal. That's actually a good argument that I've never heard. I've never understood why they try to ban rifles instead of pistols, because I could conceal probably 15 pistols on me. I ain't concealing a rifle.
Oh, dude, I could fill my waistband up.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot more murders via pistol
Mm-hmm.
per year than there are rifles. Actually, there's more murders by hammer, I believe it was, than AR-15s. But that's another. Oh yeah, that's another.
No way.
Yep, that statistic came out I think like last year. That was per the FBI. There's a lot more deaths by other stuff.
Yeah, I get put on
Just
delay
enough.
every time I go to get a gun.
Are you serious?
Every single time.
I never have.
When I got my AR, it was my first gun I bought. I got put on delay. Second time I bought a gun, I drove all the way to Cabela's. Got put on delay.
In Newark?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
Um,
You should just have them mail it to an FFL down here.
I know. It was a really good special. It was when I got my shield, actually. I got my shield for like $200 at Cabela's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got my Savage from them.
Crazy price.
I got my Savage rifle for like $300,
No.
which anyway, that's an entry gun, but that's still a good deal.
And I went to a range time and got my Glock there. And then got put on delay. So I went back the next day to get my Glock. And is when I saw the P365 SAS. They had it. They didn't have it the day before.
Yeah.
I go in the next day, they had it. And I go to get that one, delay again. And I'm like, I literally just got approved like 30 hours ago.
I think they do it randomly because I've never had it done.
Every single time I go.
You're just gonna have to live with it. You're just gonna have to start planning. You're like, oh,
Yep.
2
And
days.
it's next day. I get a call the next day every time. Every single time. Hey, you can come pick it up.
That's weird. When I went and picked up my Savage from Cabela's, I didn't get put on delay, but dude, the amount of calls they were making while I was standing there, it had to be 8 people while I was checking out that got put on delay.
I believe it.
And I mean, I don't know why they put you on delay.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's like your record or if it's. I mean, I guarantee you, out of those 8 people, not all of them had a record.
Right.
I feel like
And
it's random.
if you do, I'm pretty sure. Like if I did, I wouldn't go try to buy a gun if I knew I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so we need to go to range time.
Yeah, let's do it. They're closed tomorrow. Open back up Tuesday.
Huh. For anybody out there listening,
but I won't be here this week.
not this week. Oh, you're going to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to Miami for?
See Grant Cardone.
Oh, that's right. What else are you doing while you're down there?
I got to find a place to stay while I'm there.
You haven't got a place yet?
No, because I was looking at Airbnbs, and the only Airbnbs in the area were like private rooms. I'm like, I'm not renting a room in somebody's house.
Yeah,
while
that's
I'm in
weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially someone you don't know. That's why. So I just did a trip with my buddy. He's stationed out in Yuma, Arizona.
Uh-huh.
We went from here. We drove to Yuma, Arizona.
Oh yeah, how was your trip?
Crazy. I actually haven't talked about it on here yet, and it was pretty funny. Screw it, let's do it. So we left, so we were supposed to leave here on Monday. All right. The day we were going to leave the night of Monday, and then just drive through the night and try to go to Nashville. So it's about 12, 13 hours,
Yep.
and we were going to switch off 2 hours. We sleep 2 hours, we drive.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole bed made up in the back seat. So what I'll tell you is we have a 2012 Chevy 1500.
Mm-hmm.
We're pulling a 30-foot trailer with 10,000 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
A 1500?
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, dude. So the night we're about to leave, like 5 minutes before all of his family's there, because he had been home for a few weeks, visiting. And so everyone's saying bye. Like, it's like 7 o'clock at night, so it's completely dark. And we're getting everything loaded up. He backs the truck up to hook up the trailer, and one of the O-rings on a fuel injector busts, and gas starts pouring everywhere. Like, it just starts spewing everywhere.
You gotta
5 minutes before we're supposed to leave, bro. So he came up. I was in the trailer getting everything ready to go, like straighten stuff up so it wouldn't move. He comes up to me. He's like, "Dude, we're not leaving tonight." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And this is my best friend. I've grown up with him. I'm like, it's only on our trip this would happen. So we went to AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts. Luckily, they had it, and we spent the night fixing it. Left the next day at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Took a wrong turn. Had to pull the trailer through DC because we missed an exit. Like, I'm not talking like on a highway through DC. Like, we were probably a mile away from the.
I barely want to drive my car in DC.
So we were probably like a mile away from. We were still on like the highway, but not like 95.
People are hassles.
Like,
down
we
there.
were like winding, and like we have a 30-foot trailer. Yeah. So we were probably like a mile away from like the Washington Monument and the mall and all that. Like, I could see it
That
from where we were.
1500 was screaming.
Yeah, she was screaming. We weren't even in the mountains yet, so it gets better. So it's about, I'd say 9 o'clock where we get through DC. So I finally like jump in the back seat. We have it folded up, and we have like all these blankets down, so it's like cushiony. So you're like laying on a couch. So I fell like right to sleep. And I wake up at like 11 o'clock. I look up, and I hear our flashers on, and we're pulled over. I look up, and there's just smoke pouring out of the front of the truck. I'm like, great, one of the O-ring must have busted again. But granted, we had all the tools, and we had the extra parts to fix it. Yeah. And it would take us like 10 minutes to fix it. It was very easy to fix now that we knew how to do it. And we opened it up. There was a 4-inch split in the radiator. Yeah. So we were in Virginia. We were about an hour out of Roanoke. And lucky, do you know what Love's is? The truck stop.
Yeah.
We were 3 minutes from a Love's. Right? So the smoke was the coolant in the radiator spewing everywhere on the engine. So I told him, I was like, look, we're 3 minutes from a Love's. Let's just go, and we'll call it a night. Because it was like 11 o'clock.
This is the best trip ever.
Yeah. So we need to be back by the 22nd, because that's when his orders are to come back. So we have like a week. We have like 7 days to make it across the country. So we're good on time. Like, we could have done the whole cross-country thing in like 3 days. But we were, So we make it to Love's. We limp. I'm talking limp through the mountain. Like, we're going uphill. We get to Love's. We pull in. We get some JD Weld, and it's like a paste that turns into like a cement material. He starts putting that on. I make us some dinner because we had a little propane grill in the back of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I make us some grilled cheeses while he's putting the JD weld on.
That's awesome.
And so it's like a mesh type of stuff, and you put it on, you like dab it on, and then you let it cool, and then it like hardens up. So we do that, and dude, we're loving this. We're laughing the whole time. It was a great time. We weren't mad at all. We knew it was problems because it's a 2012, and it had sat for 3 years.
Oh gosh,
like no one drove it. So we were asking for issues doing this.
Let's pull a 30-foot trailer.
We shouldn't have made it across the country. So we had 2 blow-up mattresses, and we had a space in the trailer to sleep. It wasn't that bad. It was like probably like 40 degrees outside when we went to sleep, and we had a propane heater. Now, luckily, there was like airways in the trailer where the air could escape, so I didn't have an issue, and he didn't have an issue leaving it on like low when we went to sleep. So we left it on. Dude, we woke up like 3 a.m. It had run out of propane.
Oh,
and
you were freezing your balls
It
off.
was like 15 degrees outside. The trailer had no insulation. It was straight metal. So we were laying on basically, dude, it was freezing. So I woke up at 4 a.m., went into the Loves, and like went in and just held my hand under the hot water and just like heated up and just walked around like a homeless guy and just heated up for a while. And went back to sleep, woke up again at like 7 a.m. I like replaced the propane bottle, but at that point it was so cold the heater couldn't catch up. So it never got hot again. So I woke up at like 7:30. They had like McDonald's in there. I just went and sat in the McDonald's. Just sat there on my phone. And he walks in like he looks defeated. And this is a Marine, dude. He looks defeated. And you know, he sits down next to me and he goes, "What the hell was that?" And so anyway, we get some breakfast and we're just like laughing and stuff. We're idiots. So we get some extra coolant. We fill the coolant back up. And we turn the truck on. And we decide that we're just going to go buy a new radiator and replace it. So what we're going to have to do, let's just do it. So we called the nearest GMC Chevy in the town we were in. I think it was like Greensboro or something, an hour from Roanoke. And they said, hey, we don't have it, but the one in Roanoke does have one that fits your truck. So we got like 6 bottles of coolant, hit the road for an hour, and every 20 minutes, we would have to stop on the top of a hill and fill the coolant back up because it was spewing right through the JD weld. It had spewed. And so we were just driving. We would like get on a hill and just coast down like a tractor trailer and go right back up. It was horrible. So we get into Roanoke, get to the dealership, and he goes in. I get in the back. I like brush my teeth and just like kind of freshen up because we had slept in a trailer the night before. Yep. And he went in, came out with the radiator, and he's like laughing. I'm like, what? What are you laughing at? He's like, dude, the guy that just sold me this just gave me his address, and he said his son-in-law is in town for the holidays and that he used to work at a Chevy dealership and he can get this done in like 30 minutes. We were just going to sit in the parking lot and do this ourselves. And I'm like, all right. So we go to this guy's house that worked at this random dealership in Virginia, in Roanoke, and we meet his son-in-law there. Son-in-law comes out. Dude's cool. Replaces the radiator in like 30 minutes.
No way.
Dude, so quick.
That's awesome.
We get on the road. Truck's running like a gem, man. Like temperatures are good. Like everything's good. So we make it all the way to El Paso, Texas. Yeah. So we had been sleeping in the trailer. Or no, at that point, we didn't sleep in the trailer again. We just rotated out, sleeping in the back.
I gotcha.
And just continuously just went. That truck never stopped, man. And he would just like that. He's a Marine, so he told me one night, or I think the second night, he's like, dude, I'm driving all the way through the night. So he's like, just go to sleep, and when you wake up, I'll just switch with you. So the next thing I knew, first we were in Tennessee. I think we were in Knoxville. I woke up in Texas, and it was 5 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were just sitting at McDonald's, and he's like, yo, go get some breakfast and get a Monster, and you're jumping in. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get in, I take in the seat, and we hitch our way, and he sleeps like for 6 hours, gets back up, and we keep switching. Wow. So we make it to like El Paso. We make it to El Paso, and I'm driving, and we stop at. We basically lived off of Love's the whole way there. They're a great place. I love that place. We pull over in El Paso at a Love's, and it's like, I want to say it's like 8 o'clock at night, right? And I put it in park, go inside, go to use the bathroom, get something to eat, come back out, and he's sitting there in the driver's seat, the door open, looking at me, just doing this with the gear shifter. And I'm like, what? He's like, dude, get in the driver's seat. And he's like, put it in drive. And I put it in drive. It just falls to the floor, like the gear shifter. And I'm like, what
is happening?
Like, no doubt. So we're in the middle of El Paso, Texas. Now halfway through the country. We don't even know how we made it to El Paso without breaking down again, but we did. And at this point, we had accumulated so many tools and extra coolant and all this extra crap. So he ended up getting under the car. He's like, not a big deal. I can get under there and put it in drive. You're just going to have to hold the brake while I'm underneath the tire doing this. So he got under there, put it in drive, and realized what the problem was. He's like, we got zip ties? I'm like, yeah, we got zip ties. He goes to get the zip tie, and something had deteriorated. I don't know exactly what it was. I'm not big on cars, but it had deteriorated, and basically there was nothing holding the shifter now, and it was just going all over the place. And he got under there, zip tied it, and we went all the way to Yuma the next morning. Or the next day, it was like 8 o'clock then, and we made it to Yuma at like 2 o'clock. We got into Arizona, and he was so tired he just went to sleep, and I slept in the passenger seat, and he slept in the back. I woke up, I think, at like 6 a.m. and just decided just to start driving us. And so we drove through Arizona and got to Yuma at like 2 a.m. And Yuma's like right on the border of California in Mexico. It's like all the way at the bottom left corner of Arizona. It's like the farthest point you could have gone. So we made it. And then we took the truck. So we got there in 4 days, I think it was, across the country. That was really like taking our time because we didn't want to put strain on the truck, really. Yeah. And we decided the original plan was to go spend a few days in California. He wanted to show me like the Strip. We wanted to go up into Los Angeles and go into the commie towns so I could experience Los Angeles, see the Hollywood sign, just to do the cliche stuff. And we didn't have enough time. We only had like a day to do that before I had to fly out of San Diego. So I got a place in San Diego off the whim. Like, I hadn't bought a hotel when we were on our way. I just found one and said, hey, let's go do it.
That's me going to Florida?
Yeah, so that's the best way to travel, dude.
I don't know where I'm staying yet.
Yeah, so he takes me to this town called Mexicali. Basically, half of it's in California, half of it's in Mexico. And the whole point of it was I wanted to get a picture next to the border wall. I thought it'd be really sick. And he said there's this really cool town that we all go to do this like cliche picture next to the border wall. And you can literally talk to the people in Mexico right through the border wall. So we're driving down there, and there's this place called the Dunes in Arizona. On your drive from Arizona to California, it's called the Dunes. And basically, it looks like Jackie's Ridge for anybody who's been to Outer Banks, where they flew the first plane.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like that, but it's just continuous, like all the way to the mountains. It's just complete, just sand. It looks like the desert.
Wow.
And at any time, you can just drive off-road. Go right from the road off the shoulder, right to the sand. And there's people with dune buggies and dirt bikes and quads and all sorts of crap. And the border wall is just right there. And you'll see like Border Patrol just hiking it through the sand and like SUVs and helicopter. It's like a normal thing. So we go to this place called Mexicali, and it's right on the border. It's cartel town because that's like an entry and exit point. And he's like, we got to go to the border wall, so put it in your GPS. What the GPS didn't tell us was that...
What do you type in, border wall?
Well, there is a specific shopping center that the border wall goes right through the parking lot. It's just straight through. I'll show you the picture after we're done. Straight through the parking lot. And there's just Mexico. Looks like a third world country right on the other side of the fence. It's crazy. It's like graffiti everywhere, people on bikes, like old rundown cars. Wow. So what the GPS didn't tell us is that when we were driving to turn into the place, there was 2 lanes. There was one lane to stay in USA, and there was one lane to go to Mexico. And after a certain point, they were barricaded, so you couldn't switch lanes. And we didn't realize it until we were in the Mexico lane, and there was no way to get out of it. So we pull up, and right in front of us is the border, the wall, after this light, and it says, U.S. residents, no return. And we're straight in this thing. And he's like, dude, you're an idiot. And I was like, dude, I don't, this is a GPS. I didn't know. And he's like, we're just going to have to take evasive measures here. And so we just turned around the barricade and took a right turn and stayed in the U.S. and went to the border wall. And like, there was a border patrol, and we went up and talked to him. He let us take a picture because they have like sensors and stuff that I didn't want to like do anything to. and like people from Mexico were like yelling over to us, not
No
like
way.
rude. They're just like trying to talk to us, just saying hi. It was really cool. The border wall, it's massive, and just crazy. Anyway, so we went up to San Diego. We stayed in the Bay Area, like in the Bay, like where the Navy SEALs train and everything. And we spent the first night we got there, we went to this gourmet dessert place. He's very skinny. I'm very fat. We like desserts. That's what we bond over. So we went to this place. Everything's like painted with gold. Like it's like cheesecake, like painted with gold on the leaves.
Way.
Yeah, it's great. It's so bougie. Everything's like way overpriced because you're in San Diego, you're in California, so there's like a freaking like 16% tax. It's ridiculous. But they had these scooters that you can rent, like during at night. Like it's the one you download the app,
Like on the sidewalk or something?
Yeah, it's like sidewalk scooters. So we never took one taxi or anything. And we parked the truck and we said, we ain't driving through the city.
Just scooted everywhere.
We got scooters and we were out till like 2 a.m. just riding scooters around San Diego. And the crazy thing about San Diego, everyone populates to like the bar area at night. So after we got there at like 9 o'clock and there was like no cars on the road. Like we were in these scooters just riding all over the highway and like there was no cars. There wasn't any buses, no taxis, nothing. They were all like centralized in this like 3-block radius. Around these bars. And we ended up in the middle of them. There was just people everywhere, but everywhere else it was just like it was like a no man's land. It was crazy. You're like in the busiest part of the city of San Diego and there's just no one there. So next morning we got up, went to breakfast, scooters. Back from breakfast, scooters. Everywhere was the scooters. And then we spent the afternoon. We went to the zoo. So San Diego Zoo is pretty known. It's like huge, and they have a ton of animals.
Yeah.
That's something I really wanted to do. I'm a big like animal person. And then we went to La Jolla Beach. It's like It's right down the street from it's the richest part of California. It's like one strip. It's like one road, and a bunch of celebrities have houses on there. Something beach. I think it starts with like an M. Malibu. Yeah. So it's right down the road from Malibu. You can see part of Malibu from there, I think. Mm-hmm. But there's like seals everywhere on the beach, and so we went there and watched the sunset. And he's like, "You got to experience this. Like, this is something you've never seen before." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I've seen a sunset before. Like, what do you?" He's like, "You're an idiot. You've never seen a sunset over the ocean. You've only seen a sunrise over the ocean." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm stupid. I'm very stupid. I never realized that."
I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, so like enjoy this because you might never see this again. Like this is only a West Coast thing, and I was like, that's crazy. I never thought about that, and it was crazy. It was weird after he told me that to like think about it.
Yeah.
And then we went to this really bougie restaurant again. We were very bougie that weekend. It was not good. So yeah, it was a crazy experience. That's the type of guy he is. He's very off the wall and just like goes as it goes. Whatever happens. So it was freaking crazy. And just like the whole thing that happened in Roanoke with the random person giving us the address to go help, like it was just crazy. Like everything just kind of fell in place as we went.
That's awesome.
So my point is, saying all of that to go back, it's the wrench. We kept getting handed wrenches, but we just figured it out as we were going. And I mean, part of that, he's a Marine, so that's kind of something they instill in them. They never lose. It was always, what are we doing? We'll resolve this somehow. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. Kind of like a humanity thing. Like those people, they came, they saw the trailer. They're like, all right, these guys aren't BS. They're actually going across the country, and they helped us. So shout out to those guys. I can't thank you guys enough out in Roanoke. If you ever hear this or whatever. So yeah, man, it was crazy. I would do it in a heartbeat again. Like
That's
I would just
awesome.
get in my truck and go and just figure it out.
I'd love to do that.
Like van life. After that experience, I would 100% feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Just figuring it out. Just be like, I'm kind of tired. I'll sleep at a rest stop. What a lot of people don't understand is like around here, rest stops aren't a thing.
Right.
Like big truck stops, but like out there, there's just massive truck stops, and they have places where you can pull over and sleep because they don't want people driving because they know people are traveling.
Where we are, it's like the place that you keep driving through.
Yeah. I mean, it's so populated here. That's part of the problem. Out there, like you get in the middle of Texas and Arizona. I mean, the next place you're stopping's in 50 miles.
Wow.
Like it's not like you have a gas station Like, you either stop now or you're going to hike it another hour or 2 hours, and you're not going to sleep, or else you're going to be on the side of the road.
Right.
So, yeah, and we didn't see one single cop from here until we hit Arizona. Yeah, we made it all the way through Virginia, didn't see a single cop. I was like, I thought for sure we were going to get pulled over at some point.
I got my first speeding ticket in Virginia.
Yeah, they are big on like speeding. Not that we were speeding because we really couldn't, because we were hauling so much and we had a little truck. But yeah, it was Arizona. The Arizona State Patrol is who they were out everywhere when we got down there.
Huh.
We didn't see it. We were kind of blown away. We never saw a single cop. So that was the trip.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was kind of crazy. So if you ever get the opportunity to drive across the country,
don't do it in the 1500 with a 30-foot trailer.
Exactly. Do it in a nice big old Suburban.
Bougie Suburban.
Stay in hotels. Take your time. Yeah, it was definitely a little rush just because we had to get back. Yeah. Because military, there's no excuses. You're going to get back. If we had like 3 weeks where we could stop at like monuments and like see like natural like parks, state parks and stuff, it would have been a lot cooler. So maybe we'll have to do it again down the road. But anyway, you got anything else? I just hogged like 30 minutes. I'm sorry. But,
I don't think so.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by.
Thanks for having me.
This is
a pleasure.
I appreciate it. I was very off the wall episode, but yeah, we sat down for the episode. I'm like, what do you want to talk about? And he's like, you go. And I was like, well, you're the guest. What do you want to talk about? But anyway, we thank you guys for listening so much. I appreciate you, everyone who's listening. If you made it this far, I think we're like an hour and a half in. So again, thank you. Thank you to Scooter Brown Band for their music and our intro. And like we always say, if you see police, fire, EMS, military out there, anybody who's holding the front line, be sure to give them a thank you. And so you guys have a great day. Bye.
Peace.
I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, never backing down, ain't never gonna run. I am the American son, gonna take it to my grave when my days